People almost 35 or more have requested to tell you why government people lead to war, how excessive government or interruptive government employees lead to a war. See, the role of government servant or any multinational, even international servant is to provide facility to the people and act as per the directions given to them. They should be more or less obedient, very uh, easy to understand, though not practical, but favoring government. They are called mostly the bureaucrats, less diplomat and more bureaucrat. So, bureaucracy means acting on the part of the government and making the government favorable. Representation of government is different thing, but on the favor of government, these people work. So, do bureaucrats or the bureaucracy lead to war? Well, uh, it may be that due to conflict of issues or due to the basic understanding of a simple, negotiations or not undergoing the contractual terms, it may be possible that the things which they cannot avoid can lead to a war. So the government people should be more practical these days, especially it's the 20th century. Those days are gone when the Greece run or the government, as they were called, were practically riddle to solve from any person to meet. And the end, they went and deposited their hard-earned money to the government department, and that was the end. This is not the situation these days. These days, everything in the 21st century should leave the age-old tradition of ruling the people. People should rule you. You should not rule the people. Every government servant should represent the part of the people. The people are not the burden bearers. People are your friends, your know-hows, and government departments as well as the government should be more people friendly, both to the locals as well to the international people. Being cooperative does not mean that you should lose everything. Like in a case of a particular country, we see that they lost their nuclear weapons and they lost their sovereignty, and in the end, they are facing war. This should not be the case. They should be more country abiding, more practical, and cooperative. More or less, a government person employs a representation of the government in the form of its own entity. So, though government abiding, the person as a human being may not himself or herself be favorable to the government. That one should always note. It is possible that being a government servant, the person has his own views, the lady or the gentleman has his or her own views, and they act on their own. It may be possible, but it is seen in the pertinent terms that the selection of these kinds of people, which we call government servants, are more or less puppetry nature, in the nature of the puppetry system of the government, and should be abiding and following the government rules, be the part of the system which the government has laid down. Not so friendly, but also not so cruel. That is the basic things which a government seeks whenever they try and employ people. So one should always in the selection of the government employee or any international body employee, so that they act more practically these days. They should be more practically, not so much this derogatory, but they should be faithful and try and serve as long as they can. I have seen people serving the government service as and until they die. I have a relative of my own who is around 78 years of age, and he is still working for a department for government of India. At the age of 78, he looks much younger, say you can say around 50 plus, and he is fully equipped with every each and everything which a government person should have. Given today, I when I met him recently, he knew computers very well. He was good in mapping. He had served the police department for the government of India, as well as the has been the part of the presidential guards of India. So it is the fitness of the person, as well as the dynamic uh, change which he can bring, so he can carry on any duty as long as he possible as it is possible. And thank you, and I hope that this uh, brings to all the countries in the world that upon selection, being faithful, being practical, and being more unique of its own, can lay down the government policy, support the country or the department or the body he is favoring should be the employee representative. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.